Okay guys, welcome back. So in the last video, I didn't go too much into detail about the intercooler pipes and fabricating them. I had a few people ask me about it, but we just ran out of time and I didn't have the camera on. So my apologies, but you know, they're all in here. If you notice in my earlier videos, the tapper cover's always been a bit crappy looking, and it was silver. I just rattle canned it so it didn't look so out of place against the black manifold and everything else. But we actually have the tapper cover and turbo housing painted. So as you can see, they turned out pretty damn awesome. They matched the plenum that my mate painted down in New South Wales. So we couldn't get another rocker cover down there in time, so I had them painted up here. Got the 42 compressor housing all painted up. That's turned out pretty damn awesome. Plus, and of course, all the intercooler pipes. So for the most part, the engine bay is done. We do need to thermal coat the dump pipe. The original plan was to wrap it, but then after doing a bit of research, I found out that you can't really, you shouldn't wrap mild steel, because the wrap actually holds the water in, moisture, and it'll rust out. So, and because I've used mild steel, not stainless, that's probably not a good idea. So what we'll do, we'll pull it all out, we'll get that thermal coated. And so apart from some AN lines from the rocker cover to the catch cam, which we'll make today, we're pretty much there. So the plan is to go R35 coil packs, which is definitely still going to happen. We're just waiting on a linking cord from the Link ECU to the Golby's kit. We're just keeping the distributor in it now because it's still running, and obviously when you swap to a individual core pack, it needs a full tune. So we know it runs as it is, so I can do everything else I need to do on it, and when it goes in for the dyno, we'll just swap them over and they can sort out a tune from the start. So yeah, so we'll kick off. We'll make some AN fittings, AN line should I say, from the rocker cover to the catch can, and we'll move on. Okay, got them all on there. So we've got our rocker cover fittings and lines down into our catch can. So by now our bay's looking pretty good. We're almost there. We'll send that out and get that dump pipe thermal coated, and we're not far off. So next up we've got the puke tank for the radiator. So not wanting to put the big plastic tank up the back there anymore. I'm trying to keep this relatively clean. I picked up this off eBay. It's just a generic overflow bottle. Actually had this sitting on my shelf for quite some time. So the plan is, I think I'm going to mount this down here. Something like that. Just to keep everything real close and, you know, nice and neat. So the mounting system on these things is pretty poor. It's just like an elbow bracket with a spring, not a spring, a hose clamp. It just looks a bit primitive, as you would expect being out of China. So I'll put a little mark. I might weld a little tab to it, and then we'll bolt it straight to the shroud, and something like that. That'll look a little bit nicer. So we'll knock that out. I'll make that little bracket up, and I might take that to work and get that welded, because I don't have an AC welder. Anyway, we'll get that done. Alrighty, so got that all fitted up. It's pretty simple. It's nothing more than a basic L bracket with 2 holes in it, TIG welded to the back of the tank and bolted to the shroud. So it keeps everything nice and close and still allows plenty of room to get your hand into the cap and all that. So we'll move on to the exhaust. Okay, so for the most part, mechanically this one here is done. Bolted our bumper and that back on last night, and as you can see, got a set of plates for it. Just a bit of cosmetic stuff really to go. So I noticed a couple of little bubbles around this rear window, and glad I pulled it. So I've got a little bit of rust here and a little bit up here. So I have to get that sorted. Luckily it's in the black. So as I said from day one, the car is not immaculate. Like, the paintwork is pretty garbage on it, and the tailgate's actually got a bit of rust in it. But I don't plan on full re-spraying the car just yet. I plan on having a bit of fun with it first, and then I'll worry about it, because to be honest, with 3 cars on the go at once, it's a big undertaking. So I just don't really have the money to spray this one as well. I mean, you know, it's probably $5 grand or so to do the outside again. So for the most part, mechanically she's done. Keen to get it to the dyno now. Okay, so it wouldn't be a project car without a few issues along the way, and of course this one here is no bloody different. Now, we've got a transmission issue. We've got no drive gears, so we've got reverse, but it feels like the engine's loaded up, and it feels like like you're holding the trans brake solenoid. So I'm going to rip the pan off, and we'll have a look at the Mac valve. So I've got another one here I can swap it out with and just see if we've got gears, but the solenoid doesn't seem to be doing anything when you trigger it with the power. So I'm going to assume that's probably where the issue is. So we'll get to the bottom of it, and I will update in the next video. So, bloody cars. Catch you later.